Hello and welcome back to the final episode of season 4 of the EV Life podcast. I'm your host, Crystal.
And I'm Hannah Neal.
And for this final episode, we really wanted to just talk about just the highlights from this season. You know, we've come a long way from season 1.
Yeah, so this season we had a lot of really amazing guests, a lot of interesting topics that we talked about that we never covered before. And for those of you who have been tuning in, maybe on Apple or Spotify, just listening to the audio episodes, we actually recommend you head over to our YouTube channel at Alberta Motor Association because we've been recording all of our episodes over video. So you can get that visual of the different, things we've been talking about. You can see the guests that we've been talking to. So yeah, highly recommend.
It's our first season on video. So we're really excited about that for you to be able to actually see the people that we've been chatting with.
Yeah. Do you have any highlights or favorite episodes from this season?
I'm biased because I feel like everyone that we've spoken to, they're so interested. They're all so knowledgeable in their respective fields. So they're all great. But one of the ones that really stuck out to me was my conversation with Richard and Nicole Ivety. They did the first, as far as I know, the first cross-Canada road trip in an EV. They also traveled through Alaska, and their journey lasted 18 months. And it's just, I could have keep speaking to them for hours.
Yeah, super interesting journey because we talked about this before, but when they first started their trip, the charging infrastructure was a lot different than when they ended. And so it was just interesting to hear how much things have developed in, the year and a half that they were on the road.
And I think the main takeaway from my conversation with them was just letting people know, it can be done. As you mentioned, when they started their journey, there really wasn't a lot in terms of charging infrastructure, especially in remote places. And while there still is a need for additional charging infrastructure in those areas, it's possible and that's really what they wanted to share with our listeners, is that it's possible with a little bit of planning and preparation. And it was just incredible to hear what their journey has been like.
Yeah. And we did have a lot of great episodes this season and amazing guests. One that stood out to me was earlier on in the season, we spoke with Erica Holtz over at Harbor Air. And we talk a lot about cars on this show, obviously, because that's what a lot of you own. But this episode was about electric airplanes. And so we got to learn a little bit about the electric aviation space. Harbor Air has one of the world's first electric airplanes, fully electric. And so we got to learn about how that came about and where that space is going in the future.
Yeah. So again, lots of really great conversations. Definitely go and check out those interviews if you haven't already. And, one of the things that we really enjoy, both Hannah Neal and I, it's connecting with our listeners. And the best place to do that is in our EV Life group on the AMA mobile app. So it's just a great place for you to give us feedback on interviews that you've heard, to suggest topics for us to cover in future episodes. And also, this is my favorite part of the group, is you get to connect with Albertans who own and drive EVs in this province. So they understand the unique experience of our Alberta winters and can speak to that in terms of what it's like owning an EV.
Yeah, like she mentioned, I love seeing, real-time reactions and feedback on episodes that were coming out week to week, and seeing all of the conversations that you're having, asking each other questions and learning from each other. It's a really, really resourceful space for both EV owners and EV curious, whether you're just looking for an EV or you want to learn more about EVs.
And we also have a ton of resources if you are interested in potentially purchasing an EV or you just want to learn more about them. We have resources on our website.
Yeah, our website, ama.ab.ca, has a wealth of resources. There's a whole EV section just dedicated to education and information. There's articles, there's FAQs, there's tips and tricks on all sorts of topics, from installing at-home chargers to how you can save money with your EV. So we definitely recommend, in the off season, while we prepare for the next, season of episodes, that you check the website out and just stay informed and stay up to date on what's going on.
We also have a really cool comparison tool. So if you are looking to purchase a vehicle, you can compare the different makes and models and find the best fit for you. And as we wrap up this season, we would really appreciate it if you're listening to this podcast to go and give us a rating, because that really helps us. That helps to boost our reach and hopefully get the podcast out to more people.
Yeah, we really appreciate whether you listen on Spotify or Apple, just make sure to leave a review. And yeah, as she mentioned, that will help expand our reach and get more information in the hands of Albertans.
So again, thank you so much for tuning into another season of the podcast, and we can't wait to chat with you in future episodes.
See you in the next season.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the EV Life podcast. Make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to join the conversation, you can always do so in the EV Life group on the AMA mobile app. We'll talk to you in the next episode.